Two teams will enter this video, only one team will leave. Aside from the thrilling conclusion to this semi-final matchup, we'll also talk about how a restaurant baseball league became the perfect embodiment of the Negro League era, Mark Fidrych playing with crayons, and much, much more. You've gotten this far without a 5-year plan, and now is no time to start making one. The Dugs have uploaded a new video. Welcome back to the Dugs. Everything we do here is an excuse to tell a lot of baseball stories and a lot of jokes, so if that sounds interesting to you, stay in the know and help us grow with a free subscription to our channel. There's a lot of standalone content in this video, but it's also part of a series, so if you would like to start from the beginning, the link to the playlist is dropping in at the top of this video right now. The Crawfords will need to win back-to-back games here if they want to be the squad to move on. Not an easy task with the pitching on deck, as Tucson's Mark Fidrych has been great, and during the group stage, no one was better than Smokey Joe Wood, although it was Pittsburgh's Satchel Paige out-dueling him last time. That's Game 7 though. To get Satchel back on the mound, Roosevelt Davis will have to take down the bird. The Crawfords have been great on the base paths thus far, but maybe Pat Patterson was trying too hard to hear what Mark Fidrych was saying to his ball this time around, because he is picked off at first, which helps put the inning to rest. He was telling the ball he was going to throw it over, Pat. I think he was saying he was going to pick you off. You can't hear me. Is that a momentum swing? It certainly looks like it, as Mark Fidrych gets a bunt down here to advance the first two hitters of the inning, who singled as they move over to second and third. So, great opportunity here, but Curt Flood hits it too hard over to third, and they're able to hold the runners while getting Curt out at first. So it'll take some two-out magic here, and Tony Conigliaro just accidentally punched the rabbit in the hat because we won't be seeing any. Is that a momentum swing? Fidrych isn't impressed. He comes damn near an immaculate inning as it takes 11 pitches to dispose of Ted Bond, Sam Bankhead, and Roosevelt Davis. We've talked quite a bit about Fidrych already, but as a bookend to those stories, one of the most appropriate backends is that his career was summed up in a coloring book. Here's the cover. Given the conversations that Mark had with his balls, the artwork appropriately includes how he must have seen them while on the mound. The coloring book was published prior to his death, so the image of him in retirement on the porch of his farm coloring a book and talking to the pages hits me in just the right spot. Well, it's the top of the sixth, and momentum might as well be the most committed person in the world because it just refuses to swing in any direction. Roosevelt, for his part, has been excellent thus far. The favorite Roosevelt story that I stumbled across comes from outside the Negro Leagues, actually. He played for the Palmer House Stars for a while. The Palmer House is a hotel in Chicago that's pretty rich in history. I could name drop just a whole bunch of people that stayed there, but instead, I'm going to name drop the brownie. It's very likely that the traditional chocolate brownie was invented in the hotel for consumption at the Chicago's World's Fair of 1893. If that doesn't grab your respect, you will not be grabbing mine. Anyhow, one of the interesting attractions the Palmer House offered its guests was baseball. This could come in the form of intra-hotel leagues, where various departments of the hotel, like the accountants or the waiters, would compete against one another, but they also had a more souped-up version where they signed quite a few noteworthy players from the Negro Leagues, and they took on any challengers that wanted to take their shot. That's part of the reason that Roosevelt Davis was at the hotel. The other reason was that he worked there. Major leaguers weren't the borderline royalty that they are today, and so as you can imagine, Negro League players were quite a distance south of that mark. At one point, Roosevelt had commented, "Off-season employment should have been tackled and solved long ago. Baseball players have to eat and sleep and see the laundryman in December as well as June." I hope we've got some teachers watching the video today. They may or may not see something in that statement. Well, Palmer House, being the ritzy hotel that it is, attracted its share of high-profile guests and organizations. In 1950, one such organization that was doing business there was the Chicago chapter of the Baseball Writers Association of America. So they're sitting there, holding their baseball-related chats, and they start looking around the room and start recognizing the faces of several of the waitstaff. There were at least 5 players serving them that probably had major league talent, but due to the color barrier, were not allowed to try their hand at the major leagues. It's just the perfect encapsulation of that particular era of baseball. Let's dive back into the game. Like I said, Roosevelt Davis has been great thus far, but it starts to get away from him in the 6th. Tony Conigliaro is hit by a pitch, which I'm sure stirred up a bunch of pleasant memories for him. And then, while pitching to Jackie Robinson, this one's wild and the runners are able to advance to second and third. Jackie then cashes in and scores one with this single. Conigliaro heads over to third, And this sac fly from Dave Nielsen brings Tony home to make it 2-0 Two Soons. Roosevelt Davis comes out in the 7th, and in comes Bertram Hunter in relief. The first hitter he sees is Freddie Sanchez, and Freddie's just making sure the fans in the bleachers are still paying attention. It is now a 3-run lead late. Josh Gibson keeps it interesting. He singles to score Oscar Charleston to get that run back and make it 3-1, but that'll do it for that inning. Another good scoring opportunity shows up in the 8th. Darryl Kyle takes over. Given the tragic circumstances around his death and the impact I've observed around the baseball community, I was really hoping we would put together a positive performance during the tourney, but DK's just not doing JP any favors. That's Johnny Paprika. JP's Johnny Paprika. Got a great ring to it, I think, anyways. Anyhow, DK, not JP, immediately surrenders a leadoff double to Bill Perkins and advances to third on a wild pitch. So, plenty of opportunity to get him home here. First man, and Ted Bond fails to do so with a grounder over to the first baseman. Second man up is Sam Bankhead, and that is a fly ball. It's to the catcher, so I don't think this one's going to be deep enough to score the run. Nope, it's not. Pittsburgh's playing it conservative, I guess. So it's all up to Chester Williams, and that is a fly out to right field, and the Crawfords squander their best chance at shaving another run off the lead. The Two Soons would get a 4th run on a sac fly in the top of the 9th, and the bottom of the 9th is relatively drama-free. This is Josh Gibson, who will finish the postseason with a 167 average, grounding out, and we have our first championship series team. It's the Tucson Two Soons in 6 games. Wrapping this one up, the story was the bird. The bird was the word. 7 innings pitched and only 3 hits and 1 run allowed while striking out 7. Darryl Kyle finally added some clutch pitching to let us all feel better about this YouTube channel as he goes 2 scoreless to close out the game, including some dramatic moments of wiggling out of danger. The heart of the Crawfords order just didn't get it done this series, and it's actually impressive that they managed to squeak out 2 wins when the studs of the group stage proved to be duds of the postseason. And so that does it for this series. Tomorrow we'll see who will be opposing these Two Soons for the Doug's Season 2 title. Game 6 will feature Diamonds in the Rough, who are sending Fergie Jenkins to the mound as they return to the home field of Club Snub, who sends Burt Blyleven. If we need a Game 7, that will feature the Diamonds' Walter Johnson against Club Snub's Tommy John. And as always, if you like what we're doing here, subscriptions to the channel, leaving us some feedback in the comments, and hitting that thumb is the quickest way to make the Ducks a thing. We're going to end things a little differently today. I hate spoilers, and video lengths naturally turn into spoilers. Someone in the middle of Game 6 will realize this has to be a Too Soon win since they're the team with 3 wins and there's only 1 minute of the video left. So we're going to beef up the back end of this video with a rerun of sorts. Valentine's Day is swiftly on its way, and we plan to make the Doug's Valentines an annual tradition. So that's something you can look forward to in the coming weeks. If you want to get an idea of what you're in store for, we're going to tack on the 2022 Valentine's video onto the end here. I think they're a lot of fun, so if you haven't seen them, stay tuned. Otherwise, I've been Johnny Paprika, hoping all of your balls are fair and all of your wood is good. Stay tuned, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day from the Dougs. We've got a bit of a short, non-traditional video for the channel today, and it comes with a warning. If you're not amply protected and don't feel that you're ready to have kids yet, you may want to turn back now, as the following materials are going to make the target of your desires randier than a 6'10" Johnson. If you are looking to have kids, might we throw out there that you could do a lot worse than the names Johnny and Hamish? Today, the Dougs gives back as we've made some Valentines for all the baseball enthusiasts out there. Let's roll it. A YouTube video may not be the best medium to share Valentines, but we are a YouTube channel, so what are you gonna do? If you want to grab the images for these Valentines, we've posted a thread on our Twitter account with all of them, as well as posted this to the baseball subreddit. You can find both links in the description, and as long as you're there, consider giving these posts likes and whatnot to spread the good word of the Dougs. And on that note, if you're new to the channel, welcome, and what we typically do is simulate baseball tournaments and present the highlights in an off-kilter version of Sportscenter, telling a lot of jokes and stories along the way. Check out the playlist to see Season 1 and consider subscribing to the channel if you like what you see. Alright, it's time to dim the lights, put on some smooth jams, and roll out the content. We've also thrown in some content at the end that we didn't put on Twitter and Reddit, so stay tuned for that. Let's get it on. the hordes of suitors you invariably have at your fingertips now enjoyed these. As promised, I've got a little bit of a bonus for you. Way back in the day, the Dugs used to be a webcomic, and one of our most popular posts from that run was a collection of Valentines, which served as inspiration for today's video. So we're going to close it out with those Valentines. If you want to grab the still image, we've placed a link in the comments. That does it for me, so I'll say I sure hope all your balls are fair and all your wood is good. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody!